All right. Well, just looking real quick here. I guess we're pretty much ready to start. It's 7:06. So if you want to let everybody in, we can go ahead and have an official get together here.
Okay, here I go.
Hey, Virginia, real quick. Hi.
Whee!
Meg, I called you back twice.
Yeah, but that was after I wanted to talk to you.
Oh, you don't want to talk to me no more now. Okay.
I lost my window of time.
Talk later.
I was commuting to Lidl.
All right. It's 7:07 p.m. We'll go ahead and officially call it starting the HOA meeting. I guess I just want to do a quick roll call here. We got Ashley from AMG, and Ashley, you have somebody else from AMG here?
Yes, Amy Parker.
Hi.
Hi, Amy. And she's just doing kind of a ride along, I guess.
Yes.
Okay.
That's it. A ride along. I like the way you said that.
So we got obviously I'm here, and we got Eric Barnes, and we got Meg.
There you go. Yeah, that's a good one.
Virginia, and let's see, did Sabina make it in by chance?
No, I just messaged her.
Okay, I was just double checking, looking. Well, we got enough people on the board. We got our quorum for our meeting, so that's no problem. We'll catch her up later if she can't make it, or maybe she'll make it in late.
Yeah.
So we'll go ahead and what's that?
I don't know who that was.
I think maybe they're talking and putting themselves on mute at the same time.
Probably just, I didn't know they were muted, maybe.
Right.
Okay. So let's just run through some stuff tonight. Eric, normally we talk about the budget with you. So and I know you said there was nothing really major going on with the budget. You want to say there's nothing major going on with the budget, or do you have anything to throw out there tonight?
There's nothing major going on with the budget.
Okay. Everything's just kind of on track with it for now. We've been, for anybody, we've got the budget laid out, and we're just kind of working through our line items and doing repairs and things as we need to. Let's do a quick update on the landscape. So Virginia, Meg, who wants to chime in on any recent conversations about landscaping?
Well, when we met with Justin in March, at the end of March, we walked the whole, all the property and came up with a list of everything he said he was going to do in May. And then I sent that email out to everybody saying, this was the stuff he was going to do in May, which I'm not sure he's done any of it. Have you noticed, Virginia?
No.
So clearly after this meeting, Virginia and I need to get him here and go over every single thing we talked about. But there were a few things that he had to quote separately because they weren't part of the general maintenance, and it was removing the dead. What I think is one of the big ones is removing all those dead shrubs in front of the pool house. And, that's just outside of the normal budget. So I feel like that's something we need to do.
Yeah, we there's a lot of dead stuff up at the pool, so it'll look a little off for right now, but that stuff needs to be pulled up so we can replant whatever we need to come this fall.
Or I could literally dig the stuff up.
No, you cannot.
Because there's just giant dead bushes
right
in front of the pool house.
So is it are they just I'm sorry, I was just up at the pool the other day, I didn't look. Is it something as simple as they just need to come out and be thrown away?
Yeah, that's it. That's all it is.
Well, you've got bushes on both sides. All the bushes here, they're like 30. They're all good. The one on this side, 2 are dead, and the third one, it's a matter of time before that disease just transfers over to that. So you really need to wipe them all out, and then everything's going to be unbalanced.
Gotcha.
Which you can't just fix that. If you plant in new ones, they're never going to be. So it's gonna look kind of
up.
Yeah.
So either you can pull them all up, replant something, or they're going to just look unbalanced. So you just got to figure out what we want to do with it.
I would
seems
say
like it
pull
makes
them all out, personally.
Me too.
Yeah, I was gonna say pull the dead ones.
I'd say pull them all out and just redo it in the fall.
Yeah, better to have it a little unbalanced while you wait for to plant and get good plants in there that'll actually grow up than to just start digging up other stuff and transferring it around, then other stuff dies.
Exactly.
But if we could get him to at least pull them up, I mean, I could plant some just seasonal flowers there that just to get us through the summer. I mean,
we could probably just pull them up. I don't think that's a big deal to get them pulled up.
Yeah. Actually, we could actually pull them up and just have them to throw a little bit of mulch or something on and just be done until fall. What you think, Meg?
Or if you want to do like you said, put some flowers out there.
He's going to charge us to do that. Is that we just pay whatever he?
Yeah, no, we're going to have to start all over because it's going to look a hot mess if we don't.
Okay.
No, but if it's just pulling a few bushes up, let's just pull them up ourselves. I'll help do that. You can just pull some bushes up real fast. That way you don't have to.
And that little pointy tree over in the back, we need to pull that up too.
That evergreen that's growing under the wind, like it's
right.
Okay.
Let's figure that out. Then I'll help you guys with that. That shouldn't be a deal.
All right, that'd be great.
Extracting a few dead trees.
Can we?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Can we meet with Justin this week?
You are killing me. Yes. Give me a time. I got it. My schedule is crazy right now.
Okay, we can talk later.
Yeah. But we before I meet with him, we need to get that flower. I'm not understanding why he's requoting us flowers because I thought that was inside the contract.
It is inside the contract.
So those need to be planted by now.
I know. This will be the same price as the fall for the additional island tips that we added. So I guess there's a he just sent that tonight. Did y'all notice that? It's an additional $472.
So we need to get that to Eric and see if we can did Eric get those so he can approve them?
Was that already in the contract or did you already have money in your budget?
We're extending some of the beds. The main entrance into the townhome, there's just a funky little patch of grass in the middle of that. So it's just adding some more flowers.
Tilling that mess up.
I guess, Eric, you know off the top of your head what line item that would come out of? Well, I'm just saying, what line item would that come out of? We can just look at the budget and see what money's left in there. You got landscaping materials.
Did they ever use those other two invoices that he sent? Did you guys decide to do those? That was like $1,500.
No, we were waiting on approval. I thought, my bad. I might have been out of order, but I thought we were just waiting on you to okay it.
We never
did that work.
It was approved.
We didn't get it approved.
What work was that?
What was that?
It was all, I mean, I can go over all those things if you want to.
Please do, because we need to get this done. Please, ma'am. We need to, and then we can have a meeting with him and then see. Because my request was, please don't wait till 30 days after we requested to do it.
Yeah, but there are things in May that should have been done by now, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, just the May stuff.
And Eric, they did not cut the common areas over there by your house this time?
No, they haven't done it since they started coming back out last month. Okay. It's just the Bermuda part hasn't grown. It's just the weeds are growing.
Okay. So I'm just trying to understand why they've done that.
Hey, it looks like they sprayed it when they went around and sprayed everything because some of those weeds were dying, but the other stuff was just grown up.
Okay. So, Meg, can you write that down about the common area for me, please?
It kind of sounds like you guys need to have your meeting with him, kind of figure out where you are with everything that he's supposed to be doing.
We already did.
Point at those flowers.
We had that.
We already did.
We did that.
I thought you were talking about having another meeting to be like, hey, what's the dealio?
Yeah, we are.
Okay, so there's two sets of quotes. There's one of some work that we need to do in the fall, really there's just kind of this whole forgotten section over by the townhouses that needs a lot of attention. But then the stuff that I think we need to do now is the stuff we just mentioned. Remove a hedge, install 3-gallon shrubs, which he meant he was going to just replace, and the soil prep, that was going to be $900, and that was going to be for the pool.
So we're gonna cut.
I think we can do that way cheaper ourselves.
Yeah,
I can help you guys do that.
So let's go to the flowers.
Okay.
I guess going back, just so we know, when you guys are looking at the budget and you're trying to figure out, and I'm sorry, Eric, I don't have it in front of me. I know you're better with it and everything. What line do they need to look at when they're trying to decide what projects they've got to work with or what money?
It's the miscellaneous landscaping expenses dash common and miscellaneous landscaping expenses dash townhome, which were $2,000 in each one of those.
There you go.
Okay, perfect.
So that makes it easy for you guys.
I think what we need to approve now is just the 40 flowers, and so we're going outside the budget a little bit because we're extending some of the beds, and that's $472.
It sounds like you're within your budget because you got 2,000, depending on where you're doing it and everything. If it's in a common area, if it's for the common, you got that 2,000 to pull from. Am I hearing you right, Eric?
Yes, that's why I sent it out and said I don't need to approve them if you're in your budget. Just
as long as you're operating within the budget, unless you're doing some crazy capital improvement that is going to blow us all away, and we're gonna be like, what the heck? You guys are good. If you're within that 2,000 line item for common, 2,000 for townhome, make it happen.
All right. Well, we'll get moving on that.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Yeah, then you can just give us updates and stuff to keep us in. Like, hey guys, have flowers.
Cool.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else? Landscaping. And Kate, are you on and available? Oh, and then I'll shoot back to Ashley. So I didn't introduce you in the beginning. I'm sorry. So Kate's with the townhome committee, and she's kind of keeping us on track and helping us out with townhome stuff. So real quickly, let me just touch on anything with you with the landscaping, specifically landscaping stuff for the townhomes. Is there anything going on over there that you think that's not been hit on, or that you want to throw out while you're here with Meg in Virginia?
Yes.
Landscaping.
As far as landscaping, what I have seen is that the mowers come by and they mow, but they're not treating for ants. They're not, which as far as I know, that was something that they were supposed to do.
Yes.
And we have ants like crazy over here. It is getting ridiculous. Like they're migrating from the common spaces into the yards, and I've complained upon complaint about it. And so there's that. And then I've also noticed that the grass, when you first come in the townhome entrance, when you look to the right, they have regular green grass. And then on the left, there's Bermuda grass. Well, the grass on the right side is dying. And it's only been since the new landscapers have taken over. So I'm not sure if it's them, the way they're mowing, or if they're putting something on the grass that should be there. Oh, sorry.
I can give you some input on that. That's because they're putting down weed killer.
You guys still hear me?
Yeah, Kate. What I was saying is that the weed killer that they're putting down is killing. Can you hear us?
Oh, hello.
Like Kate's having technical issues. There you go.
Okay.
Hey, I was saying that the weed killer is killing a lot of what looks like grass over there, and it's killing all the weeds, and that's part of it. And then I don't know if the sprinkler system up and running yet. I mean, we had good rain. I don't think the sprinkler system's been fired up yet. So as the sprinkler system, as the sprinkler system gets going, that'll help with, as they get into the summer months, your fescue will start to on the right as you come in, that regular grass that you're talking about, that'll start to die. But if you go out there and really look at it, there's mostly I mean, it was just full of weeds when we were doing walks with landscapers. Meg and Virginia can attest to that. Remember all the weeds? They're like, yeah, this isn't grass, this is weed. So I think a lot of it is as they're spraying, it's killing off a lot of stuff that looked green, but it was really just weed.
Okay, that makes sense.
As terrible as it is, we're killing the stuff that looks good, but it's nasty stuff.
Okay, and then something else. Oh, the erosion along the hill is getting worse with all the rain. It is just, there's dirt coming into the parking lot that what little bit of grass was there isn't there anymore.
Can you
go
ahead. Sorry. Can you take a picture of that and kind of tell me like where that is?
It's over on Lanark against the pine trees. So if you're on Lanark and you're on the back side, then where it looks like there should be townhomes, but there's not. Then there's a bunch of pine trees. I'll send a picture too.
The Christmas tree area, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, up against. Oh, that's where I asked them to cut all the growed up stuff is where isn't that where that is, Megan? Well, all the growed up looks like all the Christmas trees running aside, and then I told them to cut it back.
Yeah. But it's,
that area
I know what you're talking about.
It's just all clay right there.
Yes, all clay right there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was one of the areas that we were when we first landscapers came out that we first looked at, that I wanted them to cut all that area back, and then I guess they've been cutting it back, so now you see more of the clay stuff. So now we're gonna have to probably end up putting dirt there.
Okay, I think maybe if you put like grass seed or something there, because it's on the hill, it's not where, because I know where you told them to cut them back, and
right.
People telling them that because I've also got complaints about that because it looked really weedy last summer.
Right, exactly.
But it's a little further down the hill where it's eroding. So maybe if we put like grass seed or...
Is it clay dirt though?
It needs a retaining wall, but well, that's just out of the budget. So
yeah. They're probably gonna have to bring dirt in because if you just put grass seeds down there, it's not gonna grow with that clay dirt. So you're gonna have to probably just bring some, and then you can plant grass seeds once we get the dirt in there. So if you could take me some pictures of that and email it to us, so I can so when we have this meeting with him, so I can just kind of brainstorm what we can do about it.
Yeah, I can do that.
Thank you.
Also I almost forgot. The mowers have not been as delicate as they ought to. They keep running over the green irrigation caps, and we also have these rectangle concrete covers. I think they're irrigation too. Anyway, they keep busting those up. Like they take chunks of concrete out of those rectangle ones. They've chewed up several green ones, and they the top of the rectangle ones have these round caps on them, and they like completely busted those to pieces. I mean, I'm not sure if that's a landscaping, if you go back on the landscapers or what that is, or who would be responsible for that.
I think it's something you should definitely address with the landscapers.
Well, the landscapers are gonna go around and replace all those in May. So I wonder if they just haven't gotten to those yet. Can you tell they were new and now they've been destroyed, or are these the ones that have been destroyed all along?
These are the ones the old ones, but the ones that weren't destroyed that were old are now destroyed. So they keep on adding to the amount that needs to be replaced, but they haven't replaced any.
Yeah, that's one of our bulleted items. that they're supposed to take care of in the month of May. So we'll stay on top of those.
Because I don't think they're going to replace the concrete ones. As far as I know, those are pretty expensive to replace. And they've already busted
we'll
up.
Have to identify what those are.
I have no idea. I'm guessing it has something to do with irrigation, but
can you take a picture of one of those too, so we know what you're talking about, the concrete rectangle thing?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, I'll send you a pic of that too.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And I think that's it for irrigation and landscaping.
Ashley, you had something you were going to say right when you thought I was getting ready to dump out of landscaping on you. You're muted. You're doing the oldest Zoom failure ever.
I know. I tell you, same thing all the time. I was wondering if I could pay the invoice for the retaining wall. If you're ready for that, it's just sitting in my payables.
Hey, Eric, did you feel like the work was done?
Nope, he still didn't come back out and clean up the bottom yet, so they cannot get paid.
Okay, all right. Let me know.
That's the landscaping company too, right?
Yes.
So there you go, ladies. They're still waiting to get paid on the retaining wall work they did, cutting things away and everything. And you can point out to them like, hey, we're aware that you've not completed that job. That's why you've not gotten paid for that. In addition to all this merry, merry month of May things.
Okay.
Anything else? Landscaping from anybody?
So Eric,
on the board?
it's quote what you just said again. The bottom's not. What is it? What did you say was yet to be done?
When they cleared the top, they were also supposed to spray the wall, which they said they did. I don't know if they actually did or not, because I can't tell if it was sprayed or not just looking at it. But they were also supposed to clear some of the fallen trees at the bottom and clean that up because it was just a bunch of fallen over trees down there. And they still haven't come back to actually cut those down into smaller pieces and make it manageable to get around the bottom of the wall.
Okay, thanks.
Funeral's at 10 o'clock, Patrick. Oops, excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
All right. So that gets us caught up on landscaping stuff. All right. So pool update. The painting's underway. I don't think they've completed it, but I was up there yesterday. Yeah, yesterday, and they had not completed it. So I'm sure they were back there today working on it. So they're painting and getting all the little touch-ups done. The bathrooms, the doors are getting painted. That looks way, way better than it did.
What's the colors? What did they end up doing?
So very similar to what's in there now, but maybe because I went in and they had started doing some patches or something. I think they were going over areas, and it's a little bit lighter, brighter color on the interior.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
I had sent them something close. Okay.
Yeah,
good.
It looked good. Kind of the same Charleston, Caribbean
exactly.
kind of feel.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. So
that's looking good. And then I know they're supposed to power wash the pergola, get that cleaned up, power wash off some of the mud and everything. Yep. The bathrooms are on and working. I talked to Ann real quick for a pool update as far as where they are with getting everything staged and stuff. They're getting the chemicals going, getting everything to its levels that it's supposed to be for the summertime. The chairs that we had strapped, originally I told her to do half, and then she gave me a breakdown list, and I wish I had it right here in front of me because I was going to run through it, but it doesn't matter. There's a whole bunch of chairs and a whole bunch of the lounge chairs, the seating chairs, all that kind of stuff. Had all those restrapped. Those are back. They're all stacked up there. Everything looks nice. It makes those things look brand new. So that's doubling down on our investment and buying all those. Still got a whole bunch that are not restrapped yet. So once we get kind of settled, I'll ask her to get me a quick quote on getting those restrapped so that we can take a look at that going into next year. I don't think we'll get to them this summer just because our budget, but we had money to get that done. So that's done. So we'll probably have to stack those coming into the summertime. So that'll be kind of a little frustrating because we got some of them sitting off to the side, some of them out. We can always talk about, do we want to hold on to those? Do we have enough chairs and everything? Do we want to sell them and get a few dollars of our cash back for them, do want to, you know, I don't know. So we'll talk about that as we get going, but those will be off to the side, the ones that are not done. Let's see what else. The internet is having an issue up there. I went to start logging in to start setting up the system to make sure that I can start doing key fobs. I've got some people who are waiting on key fobs. And then we've got, you know, obviously new key fobs. There's going to be people who lost them, people who moved in the neighborhood and the previous owner ate them or whatever they do with them. So we'll be working through the key fobs. And when I tried to log into that, I couldn't do it. The camera system I can't log into. When I go up there, everything's working and running, and the key fob system's working because I can scan in. So I asked Ashley to reach out to Comporium for me. She took that off my plate, got a hold of them. They ended up having to send somebody out. And then the guy called me. He was in there looking at it. He called me back and said, hey, it's a bad gateway. I guess part on the outside of the pool. He said, sorry, I don't have one with me. Can I come back tomorrow? So they should be out tomorrow replacing that. Once they do that, we should be up and running with our internet up there. I'll know as soon as he calls me and says it's working, I'll log into the system. If it does, I'll know we're good. And from there, we'll be able to see everything working and running, and we'll be good. We got a lot of questions on Facebook, and I had said I would mention it, so I'm definitely gonna mention it. People were talking about opening the pool earlier, and I know we're always flexing within this budget bubble, and yeah, I got some questions about what's the normal schedule. And the normal schedule for the pool companies around here, even though, and I get it, it's counterintuitive to what I would think, because I think of up north, Memorial Day to Labor Day. So when we go south, I think wider span of time, like everybody else. I have the same thought. The pool companies, though, they think Memorial Day to Labor Day. So they hire between Memorial and Labor Day. That's when they're beefed up with all their hiring for their lifeguards and stuff. They do have the ability to go beyond that, but we always get a lot of strain when we start trying to get somebody on both sides of it. So in the past, we've tried to widen it out as much as we can, but we also have to stay within a contract budget. And if you remember, we just switched pool companies, and that meant paying different amounts than we pay in the past. So in order to stay within our budget, we're trying to figure out what dates would work. Historically, what we've seen, and somebody was like, well, I want to see the numbers. Okay, well, I don't have the numbers because we didn't save those. I didn't know I was going to need to prove who scanned the thing and everything. So I don't have like the login records. I don't even know how long back the login records go. But when you go up and you scan the gate, that gives it shows in the system that you scanned in. It says your household, your name, and everything. And then I can also look at the cameras. So what I've tried to do in the past is just kind of keep an eye on it and see, like, okay, if we open up the pool a couple weeks early, do we get a lot of activity? If we close the pool a couple weeks late, when do we still have people coming in? Again, counterintuitive to your mind, spring rolls around, it's hot outside, let's go to the beach, let's go to the pool. You go to the beach or the pool and you find out that the water is still cold because the sun has not started heating the water up on a daily basis yet. It still gets cold at night and cooler, and then it doesn't warm up. In the fall, when you think, I don't want to go to the beach or the pool because it's getting cooler out, you still get those nice summer days that kick in, and the water's been heated all year long. So you get nice warm pool water, nice warm beach water. That seems to be a driving factor in when people actually want to use the pool. So watching it over the last couple of years, that's what I've noticed. Last year is a complete anomaly because I opened the pool up on May 18th, and that was just because that was as soon as the board was allowed to open it up. And we had, of course, everybody ran to use the pool because you were told you can't go anywhere without a mask on, and you were on lockdown. And then we opened up our pool, and I didn't have a single complaint last year. I thought for sure I was going to get people saying, oh, you're killing everybody with the COVID and all that stuff. Not a single complaint. Pool was busy. People had a good time and enjoyed themselves. And those who didn't want to use it just didn't use it. And we stayed busy up there. That was kind of an anomaly. So when we were trying to decide where to put our dates, the board decided to open the pool from Memorial Day through a couple weeks after Labor Day. And if we open it up, no matter how long we open it up, unless I open it up from like January to December, just ran with like a week off or something, there's always going to be somebody who's like, well, I would swim. But just historically speaking, that's when we're seeing our numbers up there. So I know there's some people that, if I opened up the pool today, they would run down there and jump in the water. But we're looking at an overall majority of the usage when we go through it. It just doesn't seem to get used as much. The next year, maybe we can open it up a little bit longer. We just got to look at our budget. That's just where we are budget wise. So talking with Ann, I was asking her today, well, what's the soonest that you'll have it open? Because one of the things that people forgot about was last year when I opened up the pool, May 18th, they didn't have staff to actually come up and work the pool every day. We hire an attendant basically to clean up after people at night. We have like the most minimum attendant we can have. And it's actually outside of what the pool companies like to do. They either want an attendant and you have one or you don't. And what we asked them to do was give us an attendant in the afternoon to clean up after people, put the chairs away at night, make sure the bathrooms are clean. And in the morning when it opens up, there's hardly anybody there, which, I mean, a perfect example, we opened up the pool from 7 a.m. until 8 a.m. so people could do lap swimming because that was such a big thing. Everybody wanted it. Why won't we open the pool for lap swimming? So I said, okay, well, we can't do like an adult only swim, but I can say 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. is just for exercising. We had one person use it regularly a couple times last year. So we just didn't have the activity that we thought we'd have, but we're still going to do that again this year. The times will be 7 a.m. The pool will unlock, your gate code will get you in. You can swim from 7 until 8 a.m. They clean somewhere in there, and they had told me last year that won't affect anything for them. And then our attendant gets there in the afternoon, cleans up, makes sure the chairs are put away and stuff at night, and cleans the bathrooms up, closes the doors down, turns the lights off. At least that's what they're supposed to do. But we didn't have that last year for the first week or so because they didn't have anybody available to do it. And then once we got going and everything, they got somebody in there. So that's what I asked her going into this year is like, how soon will you have it ready? So as soon as she has it ready, we can take a look. And if the chemicals are in place, because right now, if you want to go up there and swim, I don't have anybody cleaning the pool on a regular basis. So it'd be all dirty. Nobody would want to swim in it. So if they get to the point where a couple days early, a week early or whatever, we can clean it, we can open it up, we'll do it. But we have to have the money to contract to open up early if we're going to pay somebody to be there and all that. We just didn't have it. So I wanted people to know, like, we do read those comments on Facebook, and we talk about it and everything. But we don't always have the means to change it right away. So something to consider for next year. If we come into the fall this year and Labor Day hits and nobody swims after that, well then, hey, maybe we should open it up early. And then if next year we open it up early and nobody swims, well then I don't know where to land. So that's kind of where we're at the pool, but everything's on track to open up on time. If it's possible to open up early, I'll come back to the board and say, hey, we're in a good place to open. Do you guys want to open up and just tell people there's nobody to clean the bathrooms or anything? You got to kind of clean up after yourselves for the first couple days. We can look at doing that. Let's see, landscaping pool. Oh, one of the things I want to mention before I get off track and I forget, because I was going to talk about two other topics, which one of them is going to be lean on Kate. So I want to acknowledge a kind of grassroots effort made by some of the folks in the community. And I would start naming off names, but I would miss a bunch of people. So I know that Petra was involved. I know that Tina was involved, Tina Courtney. I think Chrissy was involved. And then from there, I'm sorry, I don't know who all was involved, but I'm sure folks know who they are and have seen them and everything. They've been wanting to do more social stuff. They really asked, they've begged the board to do something with it. And we've kind of explained why we can't do certain things the way they want to. And right now, this board could look at our fines and fees that we've collected from people. When you're late on your bill and you have to pay that $20, AMG takes a portion of it. We take a portion of it. That's by contract. And then we have that money sitting there and we can do something with it if we want to. So the board could say, well, how much money do we collect from fines and fees? And they could make a decision to throw that money towards a social budget, which is kind of what we've done in the past. We've kind of looked at where we were with the money. And what we always have to worry about is, if I look at the budget and I say, okay, well, last year we collected this much money in fines and fees, and I really pushed the board like I did in 2013 when I was brand new to the board. I was like, I think the HOA should help pay for some of these things that we kind of did ourselves in the community. And we looked at how much money we made in fines and fees, and we just took a guess at it, because normally what happens, and Ashley can nod her head yes to this, the management companies take 100% of the fines and fees money, right? Yep. And I went to AMG when we were new on it, and I said, no, I'm not going to well, you guys shouldn't get all our money. I mean, there's a certain amount of money that goes in for having to collect it and the process and everything. But I was like, that's our money. And the pushback was Paul, the company said, well, that's our policy, and Paul doesn't want to change it. And I said, okay, well, let Paul know that we no longer collect any late fees at all. And then Paul was like, you know what, 50% is not so bad. We can work with that. And I've told AMG if we sign a new contract with them, we're going to take 75%. So there's all of a sudden I don't have an interest in anybody pushing that contract at me anymore. So we've kind of stalled on that. It's just the way it is. Like we want to keep as much of our fines and fees money because it's ours. But we do pay AMG to handle certain services. So we do it. But that money, the board could allot over. The only problem you're going to have is, one, we're doing a guesstimate at the beginning of the year. So the board gets in this weird bubble of, we say, okay, we think we're going to collect $1,500. So let's give $1,500 to these groups for social events, which is fine. That'd be great. But the problem is, say we were off on our numbers a little bit, and then you get some angry person in the neighborhood who's mad because we sent them a letter telling them to cut their grass, and they want to come back and say that the board is misusing funds because we had to dip into our dues, and we're not allowed to use dues for social events. So that is kind of a tricky spot that a board has to kind of dance around. The other side of it is we just raised the townhome dues substantially this last year. Neither of them have anything to do with each other. The amount of money we collect in fines and fees has absolutely nothing to do with how much we take from people from the townhomes and how much they pay into their dues and all that kind of stuff. They're completely separate. But the optics, everybody likes optics these days. The optics of it are, you raised my dues this much, and now you're having parties, and that's the optics of it. Now, I mean, if you spend $200 on a party down at the pool, and a bunch of neighbors come down and enjoy themselves, that's not even $1 a person throughout the neighborhood. So that it's a ridiculous argument. Sorry, my dog wants to go out. It's a ridiculous argument, but it's still optics, and it's still something that I think the board had to consider. So that's why we've not been willing as a board to say, okay, let's take that fines and fees money and throw that at that. Plus, we've had other projects going on. There's been a lot of other places to put it. So to get back to my original point, after that long wandering path there, those folks decided they wanted to join together and create what they called the unofficial social committee, which I think it was Tina during an email, we were going back and forth, kind of making sure they had the resources they wanted and everything. Because there are things we can do. Like we can say, well, yeah, of course you can have it at the pool. Of course we can make sure the pool bathrooms are unlocked for you if you need them. Of course you can use social media accounts that we have, or we can put it on the Facebook page or the website, or you can use the bulletin boards and all that stuff. All that is totally, we can support that. So they took those resources that they could use, but then they went and collected their own money and their own time and effort, and they got donations from other people in the community, and they put together an event, and they've got a list of events that they put together. They have a goal for, and I think what we can do on the front end here is we can say, hey, let us know what events you're planning for. Once you want to lock yourselves into that, let's make sure that list is put out to people and tell people, here's the events that they want to put together. Will people donate? Will you be a part of this in some way? How will you help? I've always said with the HOA, you need either time, money, or ideas. If you want free cleaning service throughout the neighborhood, are you paying for the cleaning service for other people and yourself, or are you cleaning houses on Tuesdays? So that's what they've done with this grassroots movement on the unofficial social committee, which what I told Tina was, that's as official a committee as you can possibly get, because it's a bunch of the neighbors who came together and they said, hey, this is what we're going to do. We're going to create it. And so I want to make sure that the board is offering and giving as much backing as we possibly can. We just haven't had anybody who's been willing to step up like this and just go, you know what, we're just going to do it. And I really appreciate that. And I think that's how you get stuff done. So I wanted to take a few minutes to acknowledge it and just say, hey, I think that was awesome. And as long as I'm on the board, I'll try to do my part to kind of help support it best I can. So I've had Tina Courtney has emailed me multiple times to see what's going on. She's text messaged me. I gave her the code to get into pool to get to the bathrooms and stuff. And we'll continue to do that. I don't think anybody on the board ever have a problem making sure. So.
Oh, that's fine. That's great. Awesome. Glad to see it.
So I got that. I wanted to make sure to acknowledge that. It was a side thing. Also want to throw out Kate, townhome update. You guys have been doing a lot over there. You did. Talking about grassroots movement. Kate has done mailboxes and all kinds of stuff. So you want to give a quick overview of just if you don't tell people you did it, nobody knows you did it. So why don't you take a few minutes to tell people?
Lot.
Huge. So I'll let you kind of recap on what you've been up to.
So, well, we got the parking lot repainted. So that was our big project. We got the mailboxes replaced on the eastwood side, new numbers, new mailboxes, so that a lot of them were rusted over there. They were just a mess. So we just replaced all of them. Then me and Shelby went out and concreted mailboxes, and like to shout out to Daniel, I think you pronounce his last name Mabrito, but he did a phenomenal job helping us lift those mailboxes out of the hole, because me and Shelby, we tried so hard, but they were so heavy. And right now we're working on parking and trash still. It's an ongoing problem. More and more people are getting third and fourth cars and taking up visitor spaces. And I have a small proposal to maybe do a short-term fix for that. And hopefully it'll work. If you guys are interested in hearing it and everything. And trash is a disaster. So, I mean, we got really spoiled with getting twice a week pickup, and now we only have once a week, and it's it's an ever overflowing issue. So people leave their trash cans in the front yards. They leave them in the common spaces. For the most part, I've been able to talk to a lot of people and get them to put their trash can in their backyards. But there's still a few that, well, they're not listening. So I want to talk to Ashley maybe after the meeting about sending out fines for that. But yeah, that's what we're doing here in the townhome so far. My parking proposal, however, is so what we have is I think it's 24 visitor parking spaces, with 10 of them being on the backside of Lanark, and 4 of them being on Cappington. So there's very few throughout the community. So then when people have visitors over and people who have third and fourth cars are taking up those spots permanently, there's nowhere for their guests to park unless they want to park like blocks away over on Lanark, where those are almost always vacant. So my proposal is if you have a third and fourth car, please be considerate and park them in the Lanark parking spaces over by the Christmas trees, so that people throughout the community can use those parking spaces for their guests, which they're supposed to be used for. And then if you have a car that you just aren't using and it's your third or fourth car, please park it in those parking spaces. Be considerate to your neighbors, because it is so many complaints. So that's my idea at this point. I think I have another idea in the works, but it's not fully formed yet. So maybe I'll propose that next meeting for something, a more permanent solution. But for right now, I think that's the best solution for right now, if that makes sense.
So probably need to come up with some sort of official flyer, notice, reminder from the board that we can circulate out that kind of reminds people that, you know, you have 2 parking spaces per home. If you need more parking, you know, maybe one of those suggestions about here's the availability, here's where you can park. It's still frustrating that people have 2 parking spaces. They know they're buying a home with 2 parking spaces. They get a 3rd vehicle and then they want to park that 3rd vehicle in one of those visitor spots. So I don't know what the, right now, I don't know what your long-term solution to that is. And I do feel frustrated for you. And you're right. It's been a long-term problem over there. So we'll see if we can kind of work with you. We can always continue to talk between meetings too, Kate, and just like, as you're getting ideas together, and take them back to the board and say, hey, here's what they're thinking over there that may work. See if we can come up with something.
Okay.
Anything else over there that you want to kind of let people know that you've been working on?
Well, we have a few projects in the works, but they're very brand new ideas. I put out a poll on Facebook, so if all the dog lovers, dog owners in our community could answer back to the poll so that we can get an idea of how many dog owners there are in the townhomes. We kind of have a few ideas that would kind of like help out with the amount of dog piles that have been left in the neighborhood, and so we want we're trying to work on a solution for that would be helpful to everybody and safe for other dogs and children who are in the neighborhood, so they don't come across those presents. So that's what we're working on.
I like how you worded it. So that's as good as any wording I've heard. So, okay. Well, I definitely appreciate all the work you guys have been doing over there. You guys have put in a lot of effort and it's been noticed. So I wanted to give you a few minutes to kind of acknowledge the folks who have been working with you and kind of brag on the work you guys have done, because just that parking lot project alone, getting that done, quite honestly, I almost didn't even want to touch it at all. I was like, this is going to be such a disaster. I don't even want to be responsible for it. It was so much. I don't know how you pulled it off. I do know because I watched you do it, but that was way more logistically than anybody realizes. If you just imagine getting everybody to move their cars so you can paint. You did great. You guys worked very hard to get it done. You also worked amongst, we told you a couple times, we were like, you're not going to be able to get it done that fast. You're just going to have to redirect or something. And Kate still got her folks together and they jumped through hoops to get people notified, knocking on doors late at night, letting people know that, I don't even know how you got people to answer their doors in this day and age, you know? So that was a huge project. And I definitely think you and your folks need a huge round of applause for that. So if I had a round of applause sound effect, I'd give it to you. But so really appreciate the work you guys been doing over there. I'm going to throw out one last thing. I don't know who Justin Moss is. Justin, you are a smart man. And I hope he doesn't mind me mentioning his name and saying that he's the one that sent something over to me, because I know he's not really, but I think sometimes you got to put your name behind something and be like, you know what, I'm concerned about this. So, and he's a smart guy. So he pointed out we've had direct complaints from people in the community who've come to meetings and openly said, hey, everybody, Airbnbs and stuff in the neighborhood. And our response has always been back to the board, like, we have no way to do anything about it. And I don't know that we do still, but he pointed out something. Article 9, Section 2 states that all lots must be used for quote unquote residential purposes. And He's pointing out that, when you set up your residence to be a Airbnb, is that more of a hotel? Is that still considered a residential purpose? So I think I just want to throw it to the board in an open meeting so you guys can have a little bit of time to chew on it. And so also people can hear us. We're thinking about it. And we're going to probably go back and talk about it as a board and say, hey, do we go ahead and get with our attorney and say, hey, what are other communities doing with this? What do you think about South Carolina? The way our laws read is residential purposes. Does using your home as a temporary rental, because it's not even like they can't even equate them to somebody who's renting their home out. If you want to turn your home into a rental property, I don't think everybody is excited about that all the time, but just because you're a renter doesn't mean you're a bad neighbor. We have quite a few renters in our community and a lot of great people. So I don't think that's a problem at all as far as rentals overall. Doesn't mean you can't have a bad rental, but Airbnbs, I can 1,000,000% understand why. I mean, I've got a young daughter, a kid who's here a lot, and I've got neighbors who are young kids. And if one of the homes next to me turned into an Airbnb where I just had, college kids one weekend, and then the next weekend I've got a couple who's in town for a wedding, and then the next weekend I got some partiers who are in town, that would definitely have me worried. So I think we need to look into that and talk about it. I don't know, Ashley, are you seeing? I'm sure that's the thing coming up in communities. You're sitting there with you're giving me body language, like, I can speak on this if you'd like. This is what I do for a living, is reading. So what are you seeing in communities? And I don't know, North Carolina, South Carolina, whatever.
Well, there is a big trend of having the Airbnbs, clearly, as you know that. There is a way to enforce it. Of course, if you want to be really direct in your CCRs, you would have to amend them. And we know after we talked about that before, and I gave you an example of one of my communities that's still going through that process. So it's been about 2 years. And they're close to getting it passed, but not quite. It's going to be a challenge, and it's an issue that is happening in every single one of my communities, every single one. And it's just a trend, and it's not going to end.
Yeah, and it's one of those things too. I mean, we also have the problem of, okay, say we go ahead, let's say we get the simple route. Our attorney comes in, looks through our stuff, and says, residential purposes can be defined as this, and you guys are saying Airbnbs, temporary rentals, Airbnb being a generic term that I'm using for any kind of temporary rollover rental where there's not a contract between somebody for more than a certain amount of time, a hotel type setup. Even if our attorney comes in and says, yeah, you could argue that, we still have to go after and locate those owners and enforce it, which means going to court at some point. Personally, I mean, if that's what we got to do, that's what we got to do. I think it's a good idea, but we had just never identified this. And I don't know how solid a point it is, but as soon as he emailed that over and said, hey, what about this? In Article 9, Section 2, it says must be used for residential purposes. It kind of seems like they're using it as a hotel. What do you think? That's worthy of digging at a little bit. So I told him, you know what, I'll bring it up to the board, and I'm bringing it up so that we can kind of sideline it for right now. We'll just kind of table the issue and talk about it some more, and then maybe we can come back in the future and say, okay, here's what we're doing. But I definitely think there's more people in the community who would rather see us do something about the Airbnb type business than people in the community who are on board with having Airbnbs as a regular thing. So I don't think there's any issue there. So we'll look for some offline discussion about that. I'm sure something will pop up on social media. This is where I kind of turn my eye towards social media and I look at it. I might even put something up on the Almond Glen HOA Facebook page and just say, hey, we're discussing, if you weren't there, we're discussing Airbnbs, how do you feel about them? And just see if we can generate some conversation on it. And, maybe if you're somebody who's thinking about doing an Airbnb, maybe you start seeing all the negativity and you're like, you know what, possibly not a good idea. Looks like they're going to start trying to find a way to come after people and keep them from doing that in the community.
All right. I have 2 on my street, so I know exactly what he's talking about. We've got 2 Airbnbs on our street.
And the bad thing about it is, it's not like Airbnb equals bad things. I mean, I know plenty of people who stay at Airbnbs and they're all good people, but it is this weird revolving door. And again, that's not to say that, you might have 700 people stay at your home over a period of a year for short terms and all these little changeovers and stuff, and they're there for 3 hours at a time, and you may have no problems at all, and we might get one person who rents their place for a year straight, and that one renter's a disaster. So, but I definitely see, I respond to far more hotel issues than I do to issues in small little homes and stuff in communities. So I think that hotels generate a lot of activity. So
and they stay in their homes. The people, they stay there. The people on the home stay there, but they do Airbnbs with them, and sometimes they're with the Airbnbs there. So yeah.
So they're basically renting a room out of there.
Right. They're renting a room. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
which is dangerous to me if you think about it. I would never do that. I don't know who you are.
Yeah, that's a lot. You're taking on a lot. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I get it. I get why people are doing it. I understand some people need the money and it's tough, but yeah. All right. If there's nothing else, it is 8:01. Is anybody else on the board got an issue you want to talk about tonight? Anything you want to bring up? Coming from the community, if there's something you want us to talk about, like this issue with Airbnbs, that kind of thing, email us. Let us know that this is something you want to talk. Either you want to have some time to talk about personally, you want to get on there and make a statement, and we'll give you some time to talk, or you want us to talk about an issue like folks emailed us and everything. I'm going to close the meeting tonight with just for anybody who didn't hear, we lost Chris Monroe, who was one of our neighbors here. He was a former deputy sheriff, for guys who didn't know it in the community, which if you ever talk to him, that might kind of click in your brain now, like, that's why he personality-wise came off the way he did. Big, bold personality, big guy. He was the guy up in the townhomes who was doing the roofing and everything. And Chris passed away.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't think everybody saw that. I did put it up on the Almond Glen HOA.org. So if you go to almondglenhoa.org or almondglenhoa.com and you jump into the news section, right at the top of there is with deepest sympathy and sadness, and it's a message. Alexandra Shaw, who did the decorations for us in the neighborhood, she lived right there, very good friends with Chris and his wife. They have, if I remember correctly, they have 4 young children. Chris was the sole provider, and his wife Andy is working through all the stuff that happens when you suddenly lose a very young man. He was, and I'm 37 or 38 years old, very young, so very sudden. Really good guy. So if you didn't know that, I hate to close on a sad note, but at the same time, I wanted to mention that they did have a GoFundMe that they put up. I know I jumped on there and threw a few dollars at it. If you've got the means in this time, I know not everybody made it through the last year in good solid place, but if you've managed to be lucky like me and you've worked throughout the whole thing and you've got a few dollars, might be nice to go by and help Andy out. Hop on our Facebook or on our website there and just go take a look at that. Shelby's popping on there. She's saying they're doing DoorDash gift cards. I mean, it's one of those things. I don't think anything couldn't help, and I don't want to take, I know there's other things pop up all the time. Everybody's always looking, hey, there's this cause, that cause. Chris did things for the community. He had done some stuff over the townhomes for us for free, jumping on some projects and stuff. So he had specifically helped out the community, and it was a sudden loss. So I hated to hear it. I know a lot of people who didn't know it hated to hear it. A lot of people who knew him were just blown out by it. It's just crazy. So, yeah, if you go on there, you can find the GoFundMe, or you can flag down anybody, or you can call me if you need the information. We'll help you out with getting in touch with her. So I'll go ahead and close the meeting out. It's 8:05 p.m. And again, almondglenhoa.com if you guys want to look up anything that's going on in the community. If you didn't already know, we had the website. And then Almond Glen HOA, if you look that up on Facebook, you can find us there. We post these videos up on YouTube. I usually put them up once I get them from Meg. She has to do the magic of downloading them. And then almondglenhoa@gmail.com is where you can email us if you guys want to send us stuff that you'd like us to take a look at or discuss or bring up, or if you say, hey, I want to get a chance to talk. So thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Night.
Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Hey, Meg, call me later. Well, on your schedule tomorrow. Okay.
Okay. Bless
Bye.
you guys.
All right. Bye-bye.
Are we clear from most people there? Did you? There you go. And then I'll let you do your saving the video and all that.
Well, should I end the meeting now? Yes.
Yeah.